Mississippi Regional Park Chronic Interpretive Center. We are excited to announce that the new Nature in the City exhibit at the Chronic Interpretive Center in North Minneapolis is complete. This hands-on educational exhibit features the wild creatures
with staff on this. What's particularly difficult in this case is children. Children usually are the ones frequently sledding. And making equipment available to them, which they may or may not be familiar with at all times of the day in a variety of circumstances, is a bit troublesome. There is a separate standard for recreational immunity when you're dealing with children who are not presumed to be able to make a decision to assume the risk. And that's our biggest concern, quite frankly. Ordinarily with recreational immunity, that if an adult is engaging in activity, baseball, cross-country skiing, golfing, any number of things that you could slide into second base and break your ankle. All of those activities, the law would understands that an adult assumes that risk. What's unique about this is by putting sheds on the park board property, not built by the park board, by the way, so we don't have any control over the standards of how it's designed, leaves, at least in our opinion, the park board open to a fair amount of risk, and then making those readily available for anyone who wants to use them. What happens if somebody goes in the evening, if it's crowded, if it's icy, all these other conditions where we would otherwise have some level of supervision. Even when you do, I saw in one of the reports Mr. Schroeder is reporting on, I think the Armitage site, you'll see a lot of pictures of swing sets and recreational equipment. Unlike the shed library, all of that equipment has been tested, vetted, gone through safety precautions, and the park board can reasonably rely on these professional manufacturers of recreational equipment to assume that reasonable precautions have been taken to make sure that the equipment is suitable for the age group in terms of its design, the risk to individuals. And quite frankly, with these sled libraries, I know they're a popular idea, but they just have not been systematized in any way. We don't know the variety of sleds that will be there. And I think the commissioners have to recognize that we've got 6,800 acres of land. We get over 20 million user visits a year. And at least in my 38 years of being legal counsel, we've had very few cases where we've paid out on recreational claims. They do happen. I just think that to proceed with this and to allow these sled libraries to pop up throughout a 6,800 acre system would vastly expand the exposure that the board would have to sledding activity. And from personal experience and observation, a small child going down a hill at a speed of 10 to 20 miles an hour in conditions can lead to catastrophic results. And if the board itself is facilitating it or even permitting others to do it, you're really assuming a huge risk. And we could look at other branches of city government where if they're not extremely careful about how they're managing their interaction with the public, it can result in significant costs. I would guess in any given year, our budget for recreational immunity claims is barely noticed by the commissioners, and you wouldn't want to wind up with a situation where you could have a 6 or 7 figure settlement. I don't know how we pay for it.
Thank you, Council. Greatly appreciated. I am not seeing any other people with their hands raised. So thank you, Superintendent, for the report. And given the fact that I will be recusing myself from the consent business item, I will turn it over to the Vice President.
Thank you, President Cogill. We are moving into consent business, and we have one item. I would ask for a motion to move resolution 2020-120.
So moved.
Second.
Will the secretary please take the roll?
Do we need to read
Commissioner Bourne,
Oh, do we need to read it? You said for Commissioner Forney? I don't think so, but if you want me to, I will. Sorry, Secretary.
okay. Would you like me to call the roll?
Yes, please.
Commissioner Bourne, Commissioner Musich,
Aye.
Commissioner Severson,
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan,
Aye.
Commissioner French,
Aye.
Commissioner Forney,
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
You have 7 ayes, 1 abstain, and 1 has recused.
That carries.
Thank you, Vice President. The time being just about 5:30, I will move into open time. This is the opportunity for the Board of Commissioners to hear from the public. We have a few folks signed up for open time, both in the call-in and write-in formats. I will just mention that for those who are calling in, this is our opportunity to hear from you. You will have 1 minute to speak. You can speak on any subject that you wish. We just ask that you refrain from any discriminatory or harassing language, and that you refrain from commenting on any pending personnel matters. With that, I will start the speaker open time. We have a few folks signed up. I just gotta find my list. Our first speaker this evening is Cindy Benton. Is Ms. Benton on the line?
President Kogel, we do not have them online.
Okay. Our next speaker is Courtney Sanders. Is Ms. Sanders on the line?
We do not have them online either.
Okay. Then I will move to our first write-in comment for open time. I'll ask the secretary to read this comment, and that is from Ryan Heath.
My family lives in the Marcy Holmes neighborhood, and I am writing to support Resolution 2021-116, specifically the use of $160,000 for parkway closure infrastructure. My family benefited greatly from the safer and more pleasant use of the parkways during the 2020 closures. We look forward to being able to access parkways in the future when they are closed to vehicle traffic.
Thank you, Mr. Heath. I'll now ask, go back to Ms. Sanders. Is Ms. Sanders on the line?
President Kogel, they are online now.
Great. Courtney Sanders, if you would like to state your name and if you're comfortable, your address for the record, you have 1 minute to address the board. Go ahead.
Vehicle traffic.
Yep, this is Courtney Sanders, and
Ms. Sanders, we've lost you.
yeah, this is Courtney.
Go ahead.
President Kogel, they are online now.
You could mute the presentation in the background.
Okay, can you hear anything now?
I think we're good now. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, my name is Courtney Sanders, and I'm a resident of the city of Minneapolis, and I just wanted to take a minute to address President Kogel. I think I've spoken a few times on this topic, and, one of the things I've just been really upset about with your leadership of the city is, or the park board, is your behavior around the Powderhorn encampment issue this summer. You directly tweeted out to the city that you didn't agree with the superintendent's action to close the encampment, and your tweet and your not supporting the superintendent's closing of the encampment directly resulted in predatory behavior against homeless people. It resulted in deaths, shootings, rapes, and crime. And I think the city of Minneapolis really deserves an apology from you for not acting like a leader and calling on places like the Red Cross and the homelessness and housing agencies to help in the situation. So I'd really appreciate if you apologize to the city of Minneapolis and create a resolution to have an emergency management plan for the city in the future, so that the park board doesn't have this kind of behavior happen again. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. Is our next speaker on the line Cindy Benton?
President Kogel, we do not have him online at the moment.
Okay. We'll go back to our write-in commenters. I will ask for Barb Thoman to have her comments read by the secretary.
I support the inclusion of funding for the purchase and storage of parkway closure infrastructure in your budget. I so appreciated the additional space for bicycling along the parkways in Minneapolis last year. I made a financial contribution to the park board toward the added expense. I hope that these closures can become more common in the future. I live in St. Paul. Neighborhood groups on this side of the river are taking community input about the possibility of converting one lane of the road on Mississippi River Boulevard to a bike ped use.
Thank you, Ms. Thoman. Our next speaker or write-in commenter is Wendy Revenig.
I am writing for clarification on ice holes in Minneapolis lakes. It was my understanding that if it is an authorized swim beach, it is within the ordinance. If not, what is the process and cost of obtaining a permit? I was told by an officer with the park police that one could apply for a permit for their group, a fee of $20, and could use it for the weekend. With COVID upon us and the need for outdoor activities, the safe and proper use of an ice hole has significant benefits. It would be nice to know the process for permits and how this could be added to a list of approved outdoor activities. Please let me know when you have received this email. Thank you in advance with your help for this matter.
Thank you, Wendy. I'll try one more time here, see if Cindy Benton is on the line.
President Kogel, we do not have them online at the moment.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our speakers for open time. We'll now move into reports of standing committees. I'll turn it over to Chair Meyer for the Standards and Conduct Committee.
On behalf of Standards and Conducts, I move Resolution 2021-119, a resolution amending Section 16 of the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board rules to establish the procedure for submitting amendments prior to a board meeting.
So moved. Second.
The resolution has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion from commissioners? Any discussion? Not seeing any. I just have a point of clarification on this item. So if there was a situation where in a meeting there was desire to make an amendment on the floor, so to speak, or amend an amendment, that would require a supermajority. Is that correct? I don't know, Commissioner Meyer or?
Yes, that's correct. It would require a 2/3 vote.
Okay, so there's still the capacity to make amendments during a meeting. It just requires general consensus, or not general consensus, but a 2/3 supermajority to do so.
That's correct.
Thank you for that clarification. Is there any other discussion on the item? Commissioner Musich.
Thank you, President Kogel. When we discussed this in committee, we were told that we needed to suspend the rules in order to consider an amendment that did not go through this process. So I believe that would be what would need to happen. versus taking a vote on whether or not to consider the amendment. We would need to take a vote to suspend the rules, and then we would need to decide whether or not we're considering the amendment.
Thank you for that clarification. And it looks like Council Rice concurs on that point.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Rice.
Seeing no other hands raised, I'll ask the Secretary to take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
No.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
No.
Commissioner French.
No.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita. Vice President Vita.
Aye. I'm sorry.
President Cogill.
Aye.
You have 5 ayes, 3 nays, 1 absent.
That carries. Moving on to the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, Chair and Vice President Vita.
On behalf of the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, I'd like to move Resolution 2020-110, a resolution approving the 2021 legislative agenda of the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. I would also like to note that the agenda has been amended to reflect the repeal of the Standing Law as voted by in June.
Second.
The resolution has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the resolution or the legislative agenda? Discussion. Seeing none, I thank the chair and the committee for working on this. Appreciative of seeing that the advocacy to repeal the Standing Law is in there, and we'll certainly be supporting this evening. I'll ask the Secretary to please take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
President Cogill.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
That carries. Moving on to the Planning Committee, Chair Meyer.
On behalf of the Planning Committee, I move Resolution 2021-113, a resolution approving the concept plan for Armitage Park Playground rehabilitation.
So moved. Or second.
The resolution has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Commissioner Musich.
Thank you, President Cogill. Staff had said that they would look into the ability or the potential to put either a parent-child swing or a tire swing in this location. After the public hearing, comments reflected that kids were really sad to see those items leaving. Does staff have an update on the potential for that to be done in addition to swings in this location that they'd like to share with the board?
President Cogill, Commissioner Musich. So I think we did provide some additional information to you, Commissioner. We think we can look into the tire swing. We're just wanting to make sure it fits in with the budget, but I think it will fit in that whole swing assembly. We just may have to use a swing assembly that's a little beefier to use this tire swing. But I think we can proceed with the tire swing.
Okay, would we need to amend this resolution in any way to allow you to do that, if it is possible to be done?
President Cogill, Commissioner Musich, there were a series of swings that were shown, and I believe that with this comment that you've made, if it's the wishes of the board, that we can look at a tire swing for Armitage. So I don't think we need to amend this concept.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Appreciate it. That was my only question.
Thank you, Commissioner Musich. Are there any other questions from commissioners regarding Resolution 2021-113? I'm not seeing any. I will ask the secretary to take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
President Cogill.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
That carries. Moving on. Our next item here is next item, items are within the Administration and Finance Committee report of standing committees, so I'll turn it over to Chair Forney.
On behalf of the Administration and Finance Committee, I'd like to move Resolution 2021-114, a resolution accepting and approving the revised Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board financial management policies effective February 3rd, 2021.
The resolution has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Resolution has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or questions from commissioners? Any discussion? Any discussion? I'll note this is something that has come up in discussion a few other times, and the central point, as I understand it, is increasing that staff authority regarding contracts from $100,000 to $175,000 to be in line with what the city does, and this helps us in a variety of ways in our contracting processes. And so I appreciate it bringing forward. I think it's time that we align ourselves with how the city does this, particularly because we do all our procurement through city processes as well, and we should be lined up so that we're efficient in our work in that way. I'll ask the secretary to take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
President Cogill.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
That carries. Chair Forney.
I'd like to move Resolution 2021-115, a resolution transferring operations and maintenance lottery proceeds in the amount of $543,632.62 from the general fund to the capital projects fund to be used for regional park projects, and to amend the 2021 capital improvement program due to the improved condition of the general fund and the funds no longer being needed for 2020 regional park operations.
The resolution has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Resolution has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? I'm not seeing any discussion. And I will ask the secretary then to please take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
President Kogel.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes and 1 absent.
That carries. Our next item is the unfinished business item, Resolution 2020-362. So I'd like to ask for a motion on Resolution 2020-362, which is a resolution that the board take from the table, Resolution 2020-362, the resolution reinstating the 2020 General Fund and Enterprise Fund internal transfers and internal loan repayments due to the improved financial condition of both funds.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Any discussion? I'm not hearing any. I encourage support of this, and I will ask the secretary to take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
President Kogel.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes and 1 absent.
That carries.
I'll move Resolution 2021-116, resolution approving the use of up to $2,820,973 of general fund excess fund balance for one-time specific uses.
The resolution has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
The resolution has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? I'm not seeing any hands raised. I'll ask the secretary to please take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner French. Correct. Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
President Kogel.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
That carries.
I'd like to move Resolution 221-117, resolution to amend the 2021 Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board General Fund and Internal Services Fund budgets.
The resolution has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Resolution's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on Resolution 2021-117? Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the secretary to take the roll.
Commissioner Bourne. Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner Severson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Forney.
Aye.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
President Kogel.
Aye.
President Coghill,
Okay.
thank you. You have 8 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution carries. Moving on, we have one additional item here in unfinished business. I'll ask for a motion on resolution 2021-122, which is a resolution replacing the resolutions 2020-253 and 2020-267 pertaining to encampments.
So moved.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. And I think that it would behoove us to have a short explanation here of this resolution. This is replacing the resolutions that the board passed last summer regarding our guidance for addressing encampments. I think it's an important step that we're taking here for a few reasons. One, it provides guidance and gets us in line with abiding and connecting on every executive order that is coming out of the governor's office regarding encampments. It sets up a framework for the superintendent to develop and maintain an unsheltered people's policy that ensures that people experiencing homelessness are treated with dignity and respect. And it really focuses our work in coordinating with the city, the county, regional partners to be focusing on the real goal, which is getting people into shelter and out of outdoor spaces, and doing so with dignity. So I encourage support of that. I wonder, I'm going to ask the superintendent if he has any other words to provide, or anybody else to provide any additional context on this.
Thank you, President Coghill. I think you said it well, and I do support this. And we have done, we've worked very hard in the last year through our encampments and making sure that we follow, of course, the executive order that exists, and making sure that people have dignified places to go, whether it's shelters or in housing or where they need to, where we hopefully, again, make sure that we provide that care and that dignity toward the people that are experiencing homelessness or being on shelter within a city. I'm proud of the work that the Park Board has done and staff have done towards that. And we can have, again, a lot of discussion around the amount of work that's been done, but I support this, and I think, again, working with our partners with the city, county, and state is critical. And they have been great partners with us. They have worked with us to always provide the best service and the best care that we can to the people that are really struggling in the city to find shelter and to find, a dignified housing or dignified shelter in the city. So again, I thank you again, President Coghill, for your words. And we are working towards, and we are going to be working very hard with our new department that we have and the Community Connections and Violence Prevention team to be engaged and do the work that we have been doing all year around unsheltered people in our park system. And so again, I support this, and thank you for your words around this.
Thank you, Superintendent. Council Rice?
Yes, Mr. President. I want to thank you for bringing this resolution forward. We very much, as your legal counsel, recommend the board adopt this. I think, as you indicated, Commissioner Coghill, this would bring us in line with the state of Minnesota's executive orders from Governor Walz, as well as working with our partners at the city and the county and nonprofits in trying to address this situation in a unified manner. And I think that's the intent of the second to the last resolve clause. So we've had a chance to look at it, and we think it would be wise for the board to adopt this as a way forward.
Thank you, Council. Any other comments from commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the Secretary to take the roll on the resolution 2021-122.
Commissioner Bourne, Commissioner Musich,
Aye.
Commissioner Severson,
No.
Commissioner Meyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Hassan,
No.
Commissioner French,
No.
Commissioner Forney,
Aye.
Vice President Vita,
Aye.
President Cogill.
Aye.
You have 5 ayes, 3 nays, 1 absent.
That carries. Moving on to petitions and communications. Commissioner Musich.
Thank you, President Cogill. I appreciate the information being provided to the board and the public earlier this evening about ice carousels and sled libraries. I have gotten quite a few questions about the safety considerations around such activities. I also would like to remind members of the public that you need to keep your dogs on a leash when you're outside of a dog park, including when you're on a lake. It's just like parkland. We need you to be respectful. The other consideration there as well is not to have fires on park property, on ice in particular. It does cause destabilization of the ice, and in an urban setting, it will make it unsafe for folks. So please limit your backyard fires to your backyards or fire rings where appropriate. Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you, Commissioner Musich. Commissioner Hassan.
I'll pass.
Thank you, Commissioner Hassan. Commissioner Meyer.
Pass.
Thank you, Commissioner Meyer. Commissioner Severson.
Pass.
Thank you, Commissioner Severson. Commissioner French.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to our park staff and our laborers and our park keepers who are out braving the cold to make sure other folks have an opportunity to recreate. And so just wanted to shout out to the folks who are making it fun for folks this winter.
Thank you, Commissioner French. Commissioner Forney.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to announce that this Saturday, the Minneapolis Parks Foundation is having their next generation of parks events, which is Winter Birding 101. It's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon this Saturday via Zoom. And you can go to the Minneapolis Park Foundation website to find it. Sounds very fun. Who's that bird? Find out.
Thank you, Commissioner Forney. Vice President Vita.
Thank you, President Cogill. I just quickly want to say thank you to all my colleagues on the board. You know, we passed a huge resolution with over $1 million in investment around youth violence prevention and also to seniors. So thank you to my colleagues on the board and all the staff and all of our partners that helped make this happen. This is a big win for our youth in Minneapolis and the city of Minneapolis overall.
Thank you, Vice President Vita, and I couldn't agree more. It's great to see support for such important programs, and I have appreciated so much the advocacy, particularly of Commissioner Severson, Commissioner French, and especially the Vice President. This is the board stepping up and addressing some of the key issues and concerns that our community is facing right now, and being nimble enough and bold enough to take those steps. And it's great to see collaboration in that effort. With that, I will adjourn the regular meeting of the Park and Recreation Board for February the 3rd and turn it over to Chair Meyer for the Planning Committee.
Congratulations on the short meeting.
Time being 6:03, I'll call to order the Planning Committee. Secretary, please call the roll.
Vice President Vita.
Present.
Commissioner Musich.
Present. Can you see me?
Yep, thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Commissioner French.
Here. Here.
Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner French. Vice Chair Forney.
Here.
Chair Meyer.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Oh, that's right.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Vice Chair Forney.
Aye.
Chair Meyer.
Aye.
You have 5 ayes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of Wednesday, January 20th?
So moved.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
Commissioner Musich.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
You're on mute.
Aye.
Commissioner French, I'm sorry, did you say aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair Forney.
Aye.
Chair Meyer.
Aye.
You have 5 ayes.
That carries. So we're in an unusual situation where we have a time certain item for 6:30 p.m. We've got a lot of time before then. I'll try to get as much of our business done before then, but we'll have to wait until then to take a final vote. But what I'll do is we'll first consider Resolution 121, have a presentation on that. We'll read the comments that were submitted to us in writing, and then recess the committee until 6:30, check and see if anyone is on the phone, and then take a vote on it. So with that all said, is there a motion for Resolution 2021-121, the resolution approving the concept plan for Linden Hills Park Playground Rehabilitation?
So moved.
Great. So can we have Julia Rossler give our presentation about what this is about?
Thank you. Chair Meyer, Commissioners, thank you for considering Resolution 2021-121, which seeks approval for the Linden Hills Park Play Area Concept Plan. This project is funded by the 2019 Capital Improvement Program in the amount of $291,900. This plan follows the approved Southwest Parks Plan for Linden Hills Park that was approved by the board on November 4th, 2020. The Southwest Parks Plan did intensively engage the community for about a year and a half. And a snippet of that plan is below, focused in on the play area. And it shows they're labeled with the letter F, the 2 existing play containers to remain, and the number 15 showing a new nature play area, which is not included at this time. We are focusing on replacing the equipment inside the existing play areas at this time. The next slide focuses on our community engagement efforts for this project. Specific to this project, our engagement has included a project webpage, .gov emails, email correspondence, neighborhood and school website postings, being included in the neighborhood newsletter, social media postings, and then even before COVID, in-person meeting attendance to get feedback about the project at 3 events that included children and parents, park signs, offering several online surveys, and mailed communication. In addition to those items, I did personally meet with the neighborhood organizations, community engagement committee, and Upper and Lower Harriet School, community schools, parent-teacher organization groups to get feedback about how to conduct engagement, which we ended up having to modify to fit into the COVID environment. We also had a staff professional advisory committee and took into advisement their feedback about the project and the park. The surveys indicated initially support for the project, which is also really mandated by ADA as well. We have to, playgrounds have to be brought up to date with current ADA regulations as the organization can fit them in. The community expressed a preference for nature type play in the open-ended questions, not so much in the survey part, but there were several comments asking for nature type play options. But moreover, the real themes were priorities for 2 to 5-year-old children were climbing, swinging, slides, and imaginative and cooperative play. And the priorities for 5 to 12-year-old children were climbing, swinging, slides, cooperative play, spinning equipment, and connected equipment, and creative plays. So there were quite a few different amenities there that were asked for. There were, when we shared the proposed concept plan, many of the respondents indicated support. There were some mixed responses with requests for supporting the project generally, but suggesting certain equipment components to be switched out or altered in some way. There wasn't a particular theme with those comments. And many respondents did express concern about less equipment than there is now. And some did express a desire for more challenging equipment. So it was really varied in the responses that we received about the concept plan. The next slide shows some background information about the existing play containers. One of the things that our professional advisory committee was able to share is there are ongoing drainage issues at the current playground, which is a safety concern. There has been flooding of the play containers, and one of the play containers, I believe it's the 2 to 5 area, does regularly, it's kind of wet and has some problems there. There also were issues with the existing equipment, particularly noted in the 2 to 5 area. Some of the equipment is broken or has parts missing and doesn't function the way it is supposed to. And then also the current playground, again, doesn't currently meet ADA standards. The next slide shows an overview in the plan view of the proposed changes to the play area. It shows a sand play area remaining in the 2 to 5 area. And then in the larger 2 to 5 play area, that area would get all new equipment and all new surfacing. And then in the 5 to 12 play area, which is at the bottom of this plan, it would get all new surfacing and all new equipment. And then we would also add a safety fence close to West 43rd Street. Very importantly, all of the play containers except for the sand play area would get new drain tile. And we also would be making a new drainage connection to the storm sewer. And that is taking up quite a bit of our project budget. We're also reusing the existing containers or concrete curbs all around the outside of the play areas. The next slide shows the 2 to 5-year-old play area that is proposed. We featured climbing, several climbing opportunities, swinging, a slide, and some imaginative and cooperative play opportunities as requested in the survey. One thing that we have as an alternate in this option is this little play dome that would only be added toward the end of the project if our contingency allows. And then we also do have a little roof on the climbing equipment for shade for the 2 to 5 area. The next slide shows our 5 to 12 equipment that is proposed, the play area. On the next slide, yeah, thank you. It features climbing components of various types, and I think I see a total of 5 different types of climbing equipment here. We have a slide, and we have connected equipment, and then we have an animal tracks panel that is kind of to give interaction with nature, and then surfboard for imaginative, as an imaginative experience for children. Again, the drainage in this area is improved, and it is possible that additional equipment can be added in the future. We also do have several swings and some spinning equipment as well in this option. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions for staff at this time before we move on to the public hearing? I'm not seeing any hands raised. So then we'll proceed to our written comments. Secretary Ringgold, I believe we have 4 of them. Can you please read them?
I reviewed the proposed updates and wanted to submit my primary concern that there are overall fewer structures in the new park proposed than exist today. This is an incredibly busy park, and I'm concerned about the reduction in play structures to the existing format. Can some of the existing structures continue to be used to save costs? If there is budget, great if they are new, but I am all for repurposing the existing. For example, the pirate ship structure could absolutely remain as it appears to be in good shape in the 2 to 5 area, as it's a favorite for park goers of all ages. Thank you for your consideration, Allison Plummer. I would like to strongly object, in my opinion, to the new playground at Linden Hills Park. It's absurd that there's a meeting regarding this and flyers going out. What people with no time on their hands are worried about regarding doing a playground that's already wonderful, their kids. You have too much time on your hands and need to focus on necessities. Low Fox. Please explore the importance of installing a 4-way stop at 44th and York. Children need to cross there to enter the park. Cars are parked on both sides, heavily making Visibility very poor at this intersection, especially for small children. It is very dangerous. Your voice would be more influential with the city traffic control people than mine would be, and that is why I'm suggesting that you look into the problem. Jeannie Long. And I have one more. I realize this is late. Our apologies. I promised my daughter that I would send her comment. She likes the overall plan, but requests that monkey bars be added to the side for 6+. Thanks, Becky Allen.
Thank you, Secretary Ringgold. And then I was advised that we didn't have anyone make any requests to call in. And our rules do say that they would have needed to have done so this afternoon. Can I just confirm that there is no one on the line at this time?
Chair Meyer, we don't have anybody in the waiting room to come on the line.
Okay. Since no one signed in this afternoon to call in, I'm going to proceed to the vote. So Secretary Ringgold, please call the roll.
Vice President Vita.
Aye.
Commissioner French.
Aye.
Commissioner Musich. Commissioner Musich.
I muted myself instead of unmuting. Aye.
Hi there. Did you say aye or hi?
I said aye. But
Okay,
also
aye.
hi.
Thank you. Vice Chair Forney.
Aye.
Chair Meyer.
Aye.
You have 5 ayes.
That carries. And that concludes our business for the evening. So if there are no objections, I will declare the committee adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. That was amazing. Have a great
Forney
day.
owes you 5 cents. 5 cents.